Right, recording in process. So let me go to me little. Here he is. Right, ready. And then I think I've got to press present. Present full screen. Yes, please. I forgot to press share. No one can see what I'm doing, can they?
Yeah, I can see you, but not
Oh,
your screen.
yeah. No, no, no. You got me excited then. I thought you could see me little presentation.
Oh,
Right, here we go.
is
Now,
this Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
Oh,
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. I don't know how to add music, so what I'm going to do is just sing it for you instead.
I prefer yours anyway.
Thank you.
That's so funny.
Present. Right. Can you please give me a Rudolph if you can see my screen?
How do I give you a Rudolph?
I don't really know. Just say Rudolph.
Rudolph. I was like, what is this
Hooray!
emoji? I feel like
That's
I'm
the only
missing out here. Come on now.
Rudolph. Yay! You're on a W. Okay, cool. So what I'll do is I will go through this. Obviously, if anyone wants to ask anything at any time, this is the most informal thing you will ever be part of in your life. So please do speak up. I know sometimes on presentations it feels a bit like, ooh, must be quiet and write notes. But please, if you've got any questions, just bloody say them. So that's that. So first thing I want you to do is we're going to take a little bit of a moment. We're going to be embrace our inner Americans and be a bit corny for a moment. And we're going to reflect on how our year has gone thus far. I think that from some of the women that I've spoken to recently, there's been an awful lot socially. There's been going on in the calendars over the last 4 weeks or so. And I think it can be quite easy to get lost in that myriad of those feelings that it's all going a little bit too shitter. But actually, when you scroll out and you take a bigger view, you realize that you have had some astronomical wins. And that goes for everyone on the call. You've had some astronomical wins, and that there will always be patches that aren't as good. But as long as they're the smaller parts, then you're on to an absolute winner. So when you're sat alone by yourself later, having a little cup of tea like me, just make sure you do think about that. Genuinely, how's the year gone? Are you happy with how everything has gone? Is there anything that you want to build on, want to improve on? I do think that the end of years are really good for that and kind of advocating for yourself to speak up to me and Caroline and say, "Do you know what? I've really thought about things and this is the direction I want to go in with my training in Jan, or I really want to ramp up on this side, or could I have a bit more support here? Or I'm loving this, can we do more of it?" So do just take the time to do that. Then, once we've reflected on the year as a whole, I think it's also good to then identify what normally happens over Christmas periods for you. What do they normally look like? And are they how you want them to look? Or actually, do you want to do things a little bit differently? So, I don't know about you, but for me, the thing that goes out of the window for me at Christmas time often, not so much anymore, but especially back in the day, was just this absolute sod it mentality. That you get really swept up in the idea of, yeah, let's have Ferrero Rochers for breakfast. It's Christmas, guys. Um, and you just get so swept up in it, it then becomes really hard habits to break when it comes to January time. So that's been something that I've been mindful of over the years, that I don't just want to be like, yeah, it's Christmas, I'm gonna drink Baileys for breakfast, but really find and nail down the things that I actually enjoy and I actually want. So it's thinking about what normally goes a little bit titties up and actually what we want to happen this year. Um, and that is certainly not a let's change everything, let's just sit in the corner, nibbling salad leaves, because that's terribly depressing. It's more just about how we want to spend our Christmas, but then how we also want to transition into January. Because I think that a lot of us make it really hard for ourselves in January. It is obviously, I'm not in England anymore. I don't want to showboat, it's 40 degrees here today. Um, but
I don't know.
January in England is flipping depressing, right? It's cold, it's wet. You got no money because you spent it on a load of shite over Christmas. You've eaten every quality street in the house, even those little shitty fondant ones in the middle. You've even done the dregs of the quality streets. So it's just trying to make sure that we purdoing into January, feeling like we had a lush breakaway from everything. We spent some lovely time with our family, lovely little munchies, but not looking in the mirror and wanting to, jump out the window. That is what I suppose today is all about, is just trying to give you some little quick wins, little tactics here and there, things to think about so that you go into this whole period in control. I think that's the word I would use because I don't know about you guys, but years ago I would term myself as out of control over this festive period. It was like drinky poos every night, chocolate every day. These are the biggest patterns that I tend to see with myself, women that we work with, friends, family, the lot. And my husband's definitely guilty of this first one, is for lots of people, Christmas is about just entirely centered around the food. Like he wants to know
Mm.
what our starter, our main, our pudding is. He wants to know what buffets we're going to be having, Christmas Eve nibbles. Like he fixates on it. It gives him immense happiness, but then he also gets a lot of things like indigestion. And I think this is a big problem that we have our eye often focused on the wrong things of like, oh my gosh, how many exciting puddings can I buy from Waitrose for a special occasion? Rather than, isn't it nice that we're wheeling Auntie Barb around out of a care home? Because poor old Barb's has been in there for a few months. And it's kind of looking at it from that perspective instead, that it's about the camaraderie and the coming together as opposed to the excesses. This was exactly what I was talking about with you. That has always been my problem, that any kind of moderation just goes flying out the window. And it's not just a problem for December time, but it then is very, very hard to snap out of that come January, February, and often there's a big lag. And by March, you're just about, not eating quality street chasers after every meal. So it's just trying to get to grips with that now and picking what bits you fancy as opposed to utterly everything in sight. I don't know if this is a really boring bit of information that I did on a course once, but there is literally like a bell curve when it comes to when you enjoy chocolate and you enjoy takeouts and all those kind of things, right? So, I don't know what they're actually called in real life because me and my kids call them Lindt ballers. What are they actually called? Those little red chocolates, Lindt ones, and they're like shaped like a ball, and inside they're all like melt in the mouth, and they're in the big red box. Does no
That's
one
like literally my favourite chocolate ever.
what are they called? Because they're not called ballers.
Just Lindt
Uh,
balls.
yeah, the little
Oh,
balls.
okay, fine, fine. So basically, this bell curve studied extensively people eating and enjoying food. And they had to rate their enjoyment on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So you pop that first baller in, holy bejesus, it's like 10 out of 10, life is sweet. Next one is like a 9. Yeah, it was nice, it's delicious, but it still wasn't as good as the first. And it literally just keeps going down and down. And normally it's about the third mouthful of something where it absolutely drops off the curve in terms of actually how you would rate it. But I don't know about you lot. I am guilty that if I start, I'm like a machine. And I'm like, well, I'm 5 ballers in. I may as well be 10 ballers in. And by the end, I don't even want them anymore. I'm literally like, "Ugh," to get them down. So it's remembering that bell curve that actually, whatever you have for the first couple will be off the flipping Richter scale. And it's so worth it because it tastes like heaven. After that, I would sack it right off because you're not actually getting anything from it and it's going to start pushing you back. 2 ballers don't mean nothing. 7 ballers, we're starting to get ourselves into a bit of strife. So it's remembering that bell curve. I think it's really useful. Um, I think it's also worth bearing in mind that this whole period is advertised as being like comfort and joy, whereas actually for a lot of us, it is having us tearing our hair out, like it's super stressful, presents and dealing with family members that you're not keen on. and having to socialize and like your social bucket is overflowing and I can't handle that. So I think it's also worth remembering that it is perfectly fine to like take yourself away from shizzle, and make sure that you are getting your movement and your exercise in and you're eating well because it will build your resilience to cope with these things. If you're eating a lot of ballers, as we keep referring to, you're drinking too many pina coladas, you're not really moving and you're exercising, you will feel like an utter crock of shit. We all think that's like party season, it will leave you, it leaves you feeling shit. And then, Auntie Susan says something in the corner and you fight because you've got no resilience. Whereas actually, if you feel good about yourself, the rest of it just tends to flow and you let things go over your head, and relax a little. And then that all just ties into what I've said basically, that we do want to leave 2024 feeling immense, feeling like we are springing into 2025. And that real, I don't know if I'm a little bit nutty or if this is what normal people get too, but like that little feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach when you think about the next year and you're like, oh, I know this is going to be good. Like, I know I've got this in control. I know I'm on the right course to achieve X, Y, Z. And it's leaping in with that excitement rather than literally being dragged with a terrible hangover, into January, doubting all of your life choices. Putting it bluntly, there's two ways of doing it over Christmas. You can give it, I like to say sod it because I'm not badass enough for an F. I couldn't even write letters. But you can either go in saying like a F it mentality. And if that's honestly in your heart of hearts what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with it if that's what makes you feel happy for a period of time. Like me and Caroline are not going to be there in January, like, tell me now, how many mince pies? Tell me. Because it's up to you how you want to spend your Christmas. But I think it's just being really honest before you go in. So some ladies will go in and say, I still want to try and lose weight. I kind of try and actively discourage that. Other women will say they want to maintain, i.e., we try and tell everyone that that's a really nice goal. And others say, I don't really care what happens with weight gain. The ones that go into January always pretty much in a great spot are the ones that went in saying, I'd be really happy to maintain. I'd be really happy to have some lovely treats, try and get me steps in, do a little bit of exercise. But if someone offers me a sweet sherry, I'm taking it. They're the ones that tend to feel really nice going into January. Every year, yes, we have ladies that lose weight over Christmas. I'm not convinced personally that that is the best option. I think it's a very niche type of person that that's a good choice for. I think it can often pop you into January feeling a little bit deprived and actually like you missed out on some things. And we don't want that either because life is for living. I don't think there's anything worse than being all like tiny on the scales, but no social life and not having a Baileys. So we need to find that balance. And then also, obviously, we do have ladies now and again that, put on a few pounds and they feel really sad actually and upset. And there's that feeling that they've kind of undone all of the hard work. So it's just trying to find that little middle ground and whatever feels right for you. So we can either go in and be like, Christmas, or we can try and just take on board a few little simple steps because this isn't just about this Christmas. This isn't about weight loss. It isn't. It's about all of the little skill sets, all the little tools that you're building in your toolkit that you can bring out year on year, that are going to be the difference between getting to your goal and then staying there or being a bit of a yo-yo Sue. These are all of the little things that help. So this is how we are gonna go into Christmas and come out the other side. And like I said, I don't want this to feel like a lecture, like you guys must be doing. You do not have to do these things in any way, shape, or form. It's just for for you guys that are sat there thinking, I would like to know what I might be able to do just to help me during this period of time. This is for you. Numero uno, focus on the occasion. So the whole thing I would like you to be set in your head that is about a better Christmas, a lovely Christmas, a family Christmas, not restricted. If anyone is out there saying to friends and family, "Oh, I can't have that, I'm on a diet," I will travel across the world and get ya. Because it's not about that. It's about enjoying the niceties, but just not having the things that you're actually not that bothered about. I actually think mince pies are so shit, but you end up just eating them because everyone else is. And I'd rate them like 1.5 out of 10. So actually, are you saying that too, Becky? You saying 1.5?
No, we make homemade mince pies with additional like fruit in them. I've got to say they are bangers, absolute bangers.
Jeez.
But I totally take your bell curve. First one hits 10 out of 10. But you go on to the second mince pie,
It's just
it's a
not
waste.
it's not the same, is it? And then you're a bit like, oh, I probably shouldn't have bothered. But then
But I
it's
couldn't go and
slightly
eat just an
super good.
Asda mince pie and be like 10 out of 10. It's got to be a homemade boomer.
Maybe this is my problem then. I've only ever been provided with supermarket versions. So feel free to
No,
post me.
Mary Berry's Christmas cookbook,
I love Mary
FYI.
Berry. I do love Mary Berry. She is great. You know when like you secretly think, oh, I'd love it if it came out that there was some affair somewhere, she's my grandma. That would be super.
No, because she should be my grandma, so.
To be fair, I think she more suits your vibe. You can have her. I'll think, I'll think about who else I'll have as my grandma. Um, But yeah, this is exactly it. So it's a better Christmas, enjoying those bites of things you genuinely rate highly, and just not being afraid to say no to the other things. Like, it's difficult, isn't it, when your grandma rocks up with I don't know, oh my God, what are those other awful things? Trifles. I hate trifle. And you force it down because your grandma made it. But now you're like, do you know what? Thank you, but I'm going to pass. It's not for me. And no one gives a tiny fajita. So it is okay to say that. Spend time with loved ones. The magic of Christmas isn't about the food, it's about the conversation. And I think over the years, since I've been doing this, I take a bit more notice now what goes on at dinner tables. And I'm definitely guilty of it myself, especially when I go out with my husband, because we've got nothing to say anymore anyway. Is you go out and you eat so much food, and I leave and feel a bit pukey. And I can't think of one thing we said to each other, like literally one conversation that was had. And then since I've been a bit more mindful, and it's like, I will have a bite and I might ask him how his day was. And then I will tell him how my day was. You don't eat as much because it takes so much longer to digest. Then you actually feel quite nice when you leave the restaurant, but you actually feel like, you filled up your social bucket, you're in a good spot. So we do want to make sure that we're seeing what's going on around us. Now, this one I think is the absolute game changer, and this ties into the whole idea of like not going totally bonkosaurus. And it's this whole idea of when you're not socializing, of keeping everything as it was, going back to your initial structure. So sometimes over Christmas, it's really easy to think, well, I'm going to Sharon's for a buffet tomorrow. Oh, there's no point going shopping because we've only got one day in. And then the next day I'm going at Margaret's and she's doing us a whatever, bloody trifle. So you end up just having like sandwich and crisps for lunch, whatever cereal you got in the cupboard, a bit of white toast. But it's really, really important that you keep your habits and routines the same when you can. Because then when it comes to January, it is a piece of PISS to slot back in. What becomes really hard is when you've been eating out lots, convenience at home, just quick sandwiches, a fried egg on toast. That is when it's bloody hard to get going in Jan. So we're going to focus on your protein for your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, as always. And again, if you're going out for an evening meal, still bang your breakfast and lunch, still have them exactly as they would be. Please do not be tempted to do what so many people do, which is like, oh, I'm going out for dinner, so I'm just going to eat, I don't know, this tiny bowl of Rice Krispies for breakfast, then I'll eat nothing else, because it will turn to mayhem on that evening meal, especially if it's buffet style. Like nothing will be safe because you'll be so hungry, decisions will be so poor. So eat your normal food because you'll be less likely to overindulge when you then go out. I also tend to think about things like this. I mean, I'm not that popular, so I don't have that many social occasions. But let's say I had like three in a week, or three in a week, you even start to lose a little bit of enjoyment of them and it all goes a bit, to hell. So I tend to prioritize. So I might think, right, this is with my friends, the girls. So I'm quite up for a little bit of a heavy outing here. Because that will be super, super fun. Now, this is like a family do. For me, I'm treating this as a light outing. I'm not beveraging because, who wants half a shandy when they could have 5 Prosecco's with their friends on a heavy outing? And then a moderate outing. So it's like, right, I might have a drink and I might have a pudding together, but that is it. So that it doesn't turn into drinking events all the time and it doesn't turn into pudding 3 course events all the time. But it's like having a game plan when you go in. I know a few of you on here play sports. A lot of you probably know that I'm like fanatical about pickleball at the moment. It's my whole identity. Um, and it's like I wouldn't walk on the pickleball court with no strategy. And life's kind of the same. Like everything is just a game in a weird way, a sport. And I wouldn't walk into a restaurant without a game plan because that's what I used to do 5, 6, 7 years ago when, I was quite a few stone over where I wanted to be and really unhappy. And at the time, if someone had said, "Oh, you should go in with a game plan," I'd think, "Oh my God, she's so anal. She's so restrictive." But it's true. You just go in thinking, right, I'm going to have a main here. If everyone else have a starter, I'm not interested. I'm just going to my main. I'm having that. Just stick to the game plan. Like it is as easy as that. If you don't go in with the game plan, that's when you get swerved off course. And when people are like, "Go on, have the arancini balls," and you're like, "Oh, all right, I'll have a couple of arancinis." So just stick to your game plan. You cannot go wrong. That was a bit corny. I threw that in because I like the thing. Increase activity. So the other thing that drops off is all of you are flipping busy. Absolutely 100%. And you all run around like blue ass flies. And it gets super tempting, because we all do it, to be like, oh, bit of downtime, bit of me time. I'm going to sit on the sofa, watch Corrie. And then Corrie turns into like 15 movies because now you've got the time to do it. But actually, it's trying to keep activity levels high. We're going to win in the mornings. We're going to get ourselves off to the gym if we're training at the gym or we're training at home, and we're getting that done and dusted, because we all know what happens at Christmas with like, oh my God, I haven't wrapped this, I haven't prepped that. Whereas if you've already trained, you've got your job done. It doesn't matter. If you win in the morning, A, mentally you feel like an absolute Bobby Dazzler, but B, your behavior for the rest of the day is so much likely to be aligned with who you want to be, how you want to live. So it just sets you up. And I don't mean, getting up at 5 a.m. and doing mantras and anything like that. But, just nipping off to the gym and that. Exactly the same with walks and movements. Is it rainy over there, did you say? Or just chilly? Becky's giving me the nod, it's raining. Okay. So it is just trying to get those walks in where you can. Obviously, if it's utterly tipping down, then I don't expect you to go and walk in the rain like little weirdos. Dance around the house, do weird shit. Often I'll race the kids up and down the house. It always ends in injury and tears, but gets my steps up, and it was fun for that 20 minutes whilst it's happening. So again, it's about building in that time. If you can't go for a walk, what can you do? Don't just be like, well, I can't go for a walk. I best watch Love Actually again. It's like, I can't go for a walk. Here's what I'm going to do. Even if I'm not a huge advocate of hit YouTube stuff, because I do genuinely think it's dead ropey on your knees and all the rest of it. But over the Christmas period, if you can't get out walking, maybe your gym's shut, maybe all the kids are home and you can't get out, even stuff like that, absolutely fine. Just keep activity levels high and then get back into normal routines after. And if it's things constantly like jumping lunges, jumping squats, you do not need to jump to get the maximum out of that movement. I would actually actively encourage you just to squat like a normal human, and the same with the lunges, because I'll be dead sad if you're injured and I got to change program for you. I mean, that goes without saying. Get all the little badges out with you. I think aligning expectations. So I am one of those people that expectations often are a little bit unrealistic. That I will think, yeah, I'll do 5 training sessions and I'll do 5 drills with pickleball this week and I'll do this and I'll do that. And then when it doesn't happen, I'm really cross at myself. So it's instantly aligning the reality that even 2 that week for each Christmas week whilst we're on the holidays, bloody lovely. And it's enough to keep everything ticking over beautifully. So if it is a case that you can't do that third because you're so swamped, like this Chicken Little, as he said, the sky is not going to fall down. You are going to be absolutely fine and you're still winning. So again, it's kind of finding that balance that I've already told you that. I looked for my Christmas hat, but I couldn't find it. Prep. I like to, and I'm not often a Tupperware wanker because I think it gives the food a weird taste. But I am a Tupperware wanker over periods of time like this. Often in the summer holidays as well, with the kids being off and all the rest of it, like they are at the moment, 8 weeks. Is it all just goes to hell? Routines go out the window, and it's so easy to get swept up in it all that I like to have stuff ready and raring to go. So what? Oh, I looked at my watch, but it's on charge over there. What's the date? 13th? 15th? Anyone? Kerry's going to tell me. I know
13th.
it. 13th.
30.
Oh. So it's the 13th. Now is a good time to just start putting away the odd 1 or 2 things in the freezer. And it doesn't have to be like you out doing this massive batch cooking with huge saucepans everywhere, like Ratatouille style. I just mean if you've done yourself a bolognese that night, just weigh out and have one extra and just pop it in the freezer. Now is an absolute golden time to do that, so that if everyone is knackered and they're all starting to have like, cheese and cracker leftovers and all that stuff, oh, should we just get a takeaway in tonight? They can all do what makes them happy, but you've now got your choice. And if you want to go and have a takeaway with everyone else, do it. That's absolutely fine. It's entirely your decision. But if you don't want to do that, you're not stuck. You have got options. You can go and get your little bolognese out of the freezer and you can have that instead. So all you want to do is create as many options as possible so you don't get pushed down a route you don't want to be in. I almost just choked on my tea. That would have been terrible, wouldn't it, to see a live death like that? When it comes to Christmas Day, if any of you buggers are counting calories, I swear to God, I will kill you. Because I can't think of anything worse than any of you. Like this is not just Christmas Day. This is at least Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. That app don't get opened. You don't even look at it. If me and me and Caroline are not going to text you unless we say Happy Christmas, but other than that, we won't anyway. But we don't even think about it because there are so many bigger fish to fry over those days. That is your family time to entirely enjoy. There should be utterly zero, zero, zero feelings of guilt, remorse, fear. Oh, should I, shouldn't I on Christmas Day? Bloody have what you fancy, because actually, like I said about the ladies before, often that stay in really, I'm losing weight, I'm not having roasties mindset. It then bites them on the bum a couple of months down the line because they suddenly lose their marbles. If you have these moments where you really enjoy the food that you want to enjoy, and then you go back to normal eating, you don't have any of those senses of deprivation. It's really easy to keep going. And then there'll be another occasion in a couple of months' time that you'll really enjoy, and it tops up that feeling again. So on Christmas Day, do whatever the hell you want to do. And I don't even use the words balance or within reason, but it is just to, do what you want to do. Same with Christmas Eve, same with Boxing Day. Loads of families I know, Christmas Eve, that is their tradition, that they have what I don't know if it's a Bristolian thing to call it a picky tea. Do you call it picky tea? Yeah, Becky calls it picky tea. Christmas Eve is a little picky tea. Picky tea, historically beige. Ain't no one picking on a bloody cauliflower bundle, is there? It is, a little sausage roll here, a little quiche Lorraine there. And if that's your little family tradition, that is fine because it's all part of your little crew. Same if it's a takeout. Just try and be slightly mindful of the things that you're ordering. And then in between those occasions, we're getting on our normal food and our normal meals. And you'll actually feel really good when you get back onto that normal food. And it'll also be a good indication for you that if you've been eating in a much better way, a cleaner way, you've been exercising, you've been moving, and suddenly you start eaten a few more treats, you will honestly, it'll make you feel weird. Your tummy will hurt. You'll be pooping for England, and you'll be glad to get back into normal routines. I said before about don't restrict before an event. Same goes after, next day. If you've had a, I don't know, Boxing Day, and our tradition within our family is Mum gets the frying pan out. No, not the frying pan. It's a big saucepan, and then she puts a net in it full of oil and she does homemade chips. Only happens once a year. And that's like big news in our world. It's like Mum's getting the old fryer out. And we have that leftover turkey and we go for it. Like, you know, when you couldn't even fit one more chip in if you tried. The next day is just about normal breakfast, normal lunch, normal dinner. I don't need to pay back calories. I don't need to undereat to make up for it. Again, bite you on the bum hole. Just keep going as you normally would. And you'll find the whole process super easy. We've talked about this. What is it everyone says? Fail to plan. What's that phrase? Prepare to fail? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Woo! It's exactly the same in this scenario, is that it's not living by the seat of your pants, but actually just having, it doesn't have to be bloody anal that you've got it all right written down, but it's just a rough idea of, you know I'm going out for a couple of bevies at the pizza place with Becky on Tuesday. I'm going to do this. Then on Wednesday when I go out, I'm going to do this. Just have a rough idea because it makes it so much easier. This is a big one, and this comes up every year. And every year, multitudes of people will say to me after Christmas, "Oh, I wish I would have just said no when I meant no." So every year, I have to talk about peer pressure. So this is the biggest one, I think, and it's that feeling of people have made a special effort to prepare something. And I don't mean don't go to someone's house and, deny their entire meal, but just because, Sally's made brownies, it doesn't mean you have to eat them. You don't love Sally less if you don't eat her brownies. So it is important not to give in to peer pressure. And actually, in my little crew, I've gotten quite good, not like mum's side, because that's easy, but the wider family network, I've become really good at this now. And I used to really struggle. And what I love is once you start doing it with like Sally's brownies, it then rolls out to the rest of your life. Like when people say, "Oh, would you do this for me?" And before, would you take me to the airport at 4 a.m., even though I could get an Uber? And you're like, "Yes, I will." Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I'm really sorry. It feels so good. So it's letting that roll out as your new little MO. So, we said at the beginning, reflect on how the year's gone. How do you want Christmas to go? How do you want next year to go? This is like the first little stepping stone into that area of who you want to be. That if you don't want to be, rushing around for every other human being on the earth, this is a good time. Draw a line in the sand. Start saying no to shit. It feels incredible. Incredible, I'll tell you. Mindful. Kind of done that, haven't we? Let me just have a little swig of tea. Talked about smart choices. This is a problem. I always over talk on my previous slides, you see. High volume foods. So this is always the biggest hot potato in any area of just health, fitness, is about the volume eating. About eyeing up your plate. That in an ideal world, a really, really good rule of thumb is if you are going to a buffet, a thumb of fat is where you want to be. But then you have to use your unagi because it won't be as simple as the butter that you're putting on the French bread. It will be things like, well, if I've had sausage rolls, there's quite a bit of fat in there. So if you're picking things like sausage rolls, cheeses, I would just assume your little thumb is already taken and don't then try and use it for things like butters and olive oils. Know what I'm saying? Give me a nod. Becky knows what I'm saying. Joanna, know what I'm saying? She knows what I'm saying. Louise D, she knows what I'm saying. Palm, this little bit is a really nice amount for carbs. And obviously, you're not going to go out to the buffet and like couscous into your hand. Yeah, beautiful. I'll be having that. But you can visually quite easily see it. And then whole hand protein. You're never gonna overeat, broccoli, lettuce, crudités. So I'm not even gonna bother talking about measuring that out. Like no one ever came out of Christmas 5 stone heavier because they ate too many carrot sticks at the buffet. So they're fine. Go for your life on them. But if you roughly stick to the fat, carbs, protein, you're in a really good spot because it naturally makes you fill your plate first with the protein because that's the biggest bad boy to find. And then you start being a bit more selective about your carbs. Otherwise, it gets a bit like I'll have a slice of cheesy garlic, I'll have a couple of breadsticks, I'll have this, I'll have that. It tends to make you really hone in on one of the carb sources you super fancy, like roasties all day long, and then fill them up with that. So it's a really good strategy. And once you've done your little plate, F off. F straight off from that buffet. I don't want to see you mincing around it. I don't want to see you chatting to Kathy at the buffet whilst you're picking at shit. I want you to get the hell away. Because what you've just selected is well enough to be satiating and filling, and we don't need to be going back up and forth picking because that is when shizzle hits the fan. That's when like you're picking at chips when you're talking to people, and before you know it, it's all gone terrible wrong. Kerry, I feel like you look like the most bored you've ever been in your life. I feel like I need to profusely apologize. She's literally like this.
I'm fat. I've got a flu.
Oh, I was in... Then I take that back. I take that back. You look lovely, you look beautiful.
No, my darling children and grandchildren have shared their bugs with me. So yeah, I've got flu.
I can hear that now. Terrible nasally. Terrible. You done a sinus rinse?
No, I am drinking water, taking paracetamol, and hoping for the best.
Yeah, and praying to the good Lord above. Me and George, my middle child, my 6-year-old, we are obsessed with sinus rinses. Honestly, I say it cures everything. Tummy ache, sinus rinse. Earache, sinus rinse. Do it. Change your life. Anyway, food isn't going anywhere. We all get a little bit, well, I do anyway, goblin-like. That when people start taking the foil off the plates, it's like something in me comes alive, and I need to be first to see what's in those plates, and I need to be first to dish those bad boys up. And it's just remembering, like, it's not going anywhere. It will all still be there in 2 minutes. Just take a deep breath, compose yourself. You've got this. And slow down because I shovel. Whop, 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 whop. I've painted myself out to be a monster on this webinar. But I don't, honestly, if I go to a buffet, like, I don't really want to talk to anyone. I just want to eat in the corner by myself at prime position. And those are all of the wrong things to do. Yes, Ludi. So it's being mindful of, all right, I will have some conversation whilst I eat this, and I will sit away from this table. Conversation. I've said that a lot because I'm just picking on the things I don't do. Oh yeah, 20-30 minutes. So I said get the F away from the buffet table because often, like when you eat, you think, oh, I could squeeze a bit more in. And then you do. And then suddenly it all goes terrible wrong. You feel bloated. When you have to do that thing when you unbutton your jeans and then hope your top covers the evidence. If you just wait 20-30 minutes and make that as a little rule in your head, because remember that buffet ain't going nowhere. Make that as a rule in your head, you will then feel in a much better position. And I would bet my bottom dollar that most people then wouldn't end up going for seconds because that impulse has gone. So do bring that in. I bring that in on Christmas Day. I know I said about like, oh, don't deprive yourself, but that will just make you feel less pukey on Christmas Day. And then I genuinely believe that if you can put those types of little tweaks in place, the outcomes are huge, and they are things like you enjoy your Christmas more than ever, and you enjoy it because you get a different take on things, less about, for me, food and booze and Baileys, but actually doing other things and getting out in the fresh air in the open and doing things I never would have done years ago. This is that feeling that I was talking to you about at the very beginning, that I can even start to feel it now, that feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach, just above your belly button, that place? And it's like the butterflies of, I feel in a really, really good place. I've had a lush Christmas, a lush December. But I really, really think this year is absolutely my year to go in, it's grab it by the horns, not the balls, but I'm saying the balls, to go and grab the year by the balls. Um, and that all comes from how you manage Christmas because so many people don't feel that way in January. They feel really, really down in the dumps and not in a great place. So we want to be the polar opposite of that. And we want to be positively skipping into 2025. Is it 2025? It's 2026. It's 2025, right? 2026. What is it? Someone tell me.
We're going into 2026.
Oh my God, I did my whole presentation around leaving 2024. Why did no one tell me? No one said a bloody thing. Not one of you.
I didn't actually notice that. I didn't notice the year. You're fine. I was
didn't.
watching you.
I haven't written go into 2025, I don't think. Did I write that? No, but I said it. And I think I typed 2024 that we're leaving 2024. God, I really need to get a grip of the life. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to bring to the forum? I shall wait patiently if you do so. Ain't no one got nothing?
Mine is just changing the mindset of all social occasions being centered around a food-based option, like family meals or buffets, or even going for a walk and having a cup of tea and a coffee somewhere. You end up having something with it. So
yeah, 100%, and actually enjoying that time with family. And that's the same with boozing, I think, as well. Sometimes when you go to a family do, and I don't know if this is just me, but there's loads of like extended ones there that you haven't really seen for a while, and apparently they're your second cousins. And it all feels mildly cringy. So you quickly neck a prosecco, and then before you know it, that's made everything go a bit Pete Tong for you. So it's like just embracing this new confidence. And instead of speaking to your second cousin sober, that makes a big difference. That's my other top advice. And to add to the sheet is speak to your second cousins sober. Any other questions? Carrie-Elle, you got anything for me?
I haven't got any questions as such, but the going into 2026,
Yay!
for once in my life, I'm not thinking about having to start over.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a relief.
It's that in your tummy feeling, isn't it? That you know
Yeah.
this. It's that certainty now that that's it. This is
I know I've got a couple of things coming up. I know I'm good. I know that next January I won't be back to where I was this January going, holy hell.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm just going to praise you. Praise you like I should. Yes, entirely. And you have, I'm always telling you you're killing it, but you've killed it. And you utterly deserve to feel that way.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Does anybody else want to tell us? I like that this is now turned into questions and wins. Anyone want to share any wins? Becky, you got any wins for me? Oh, she's taken a while to unmute.
Wins, gosh, that's a difficult one. I probably echo what Kerry said. It's just about control. And I think the takeaway from this webinar was very much about it's about connection and conversations, not comfort food. And that's where the focus needs to be. And that slippery slope, I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel that food noise the same way because I've got the tools. And like listening to this is just reiterating all the things that you and Caroline have been talking to me about for like the last 6 months. And I had my Christmas do last night, which is why I'm a little bit hoarse because I was singing really loud. Um, so all the things that you've been talking about is what I've applied last night because that's what you've taught us to do. Eat what you really enjoy, but if something's not really hitting your 10 out of 10, leave it. So I left most of my apple pie because it was a little bit shit.
Oh, there's nothing worse than a shit apple pie, is there?
But I ate the ice cream.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to leave that because it's not floating my boat and I'm okay with that. But I
Yeah.
did have my Prosecco, my one glass of Prosecco, because it was included in the price. I was like, I'm having that bad boy.
Be rude
But
not
then,
to. Ooh.
it would be rude. But then I was happy on like the lime sodas because I didn't feel I needed it. And it's Christmas do, so you've got to be a little bit careful. So yeah, it's nice to come away today and go, yeah, I am doing that. And if I can do it last night, I can continue doing that. But I did really love the fact I don't have to count my calories on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that would be so depressing. Honest to God, I've logged in before and seen Chisel like that, and it's so depressing. We absolutely don't want to be doing that. And you know that feeling that you feel now, having just come out of your Christmas do, and actually you've got that, I got this. Like, I actually can see that things are going to change. Times that by about 50 million gazillion, roughly, because that's how you feel in January when you come out of December having achieved that, is there is zilcho doubt in my mind now that that life before isn't really ever going to claw me back, because I'm in such a good spot that it's just onwards and onwards and upwards. So yeah, I absolutely love that. Joanna W, looking nice and green. What you saying to me? You saying anything?
Well, I've just been completely useless and not taken on board anything you said over the last 6 months. I've not got my head in the right place. I'm struggling. I can't get started. I feel rubbish. I'm not going to say too much more because I'll start getting upset. But I have found your thumb, palm, hand thing quite useful. So that's one thing I'm going to take away with me
Good.
today.
Good.
There have been some things in here today to take on board.
Thank you. And do you know what? I think that because you hear all these wins, right? And everyone's saying, "Oh, I've achieved this and I've achieved that." And it's flipping
Mm,
amazing. But and I
yeah,
this sounds a little bit corny, but it's so true. Like everyone's journey is so different that some people come in and it clicks straight away and they're kind of just straight on the line of where they want to be. For other
mm,
people, it takes a little bit longer to click. And the way I look at it is in 5 years' time. Or that might be a bit extreme. Let's say two, maybe one. When in a year's time, I've quickly changed my timeline. In a year's time, when you're where you want to be, you're not going to give a shit whether that took you 2 months to get there, 6 months to get there, or 9 months to get there, as long as you
yeah,
get there. And I think
mm,
sometimes we forget that we get so wrapped up in, oh my God, it feels like it's been 6 months and I feel like I've not utilized this like I should. Oh, I probably should just, I don't know, it's all gone wrong.
mm,
Instead of just being happy to draw a line and thinking, right, this hasn't gone quite as I want it to yet, but it
mm.
absolutely can and will. And I'm going to take X, Y, and Z away from today. I'm going to apply
Yeah,
these over Christmas. I'm not going to go bananas and I'm not going to try and start, changing my life, but I'm just going to put those little things in place because
mm,
once you achieve them, you will then feel like a little badass. And that will
yeah,
give you a little spring in your step to then build on that once Crimbo's over. Right, Aim, I did that palm
mm,
stuff. I did X, Y, and Z. Now I'm going to get into a really good routine where I'm consistently training. Right now I'm doing that. Now I'm going to do my steps. Now, and it's just those building blocks. And everyone has to start somewhere. So
mm.
try at least even like the palm stuff over Crimbo and get
Yeah.
things. And me and you, I'll text you after this and we'll have a little chat anyway in the next week or so and catch up.
All right, fab. Thank
That
you.
was really brave. Not to take away, but I promise you're not the only one. I too, this is my second time round, and it takes me a really, really long time to develop the habits Amy's talking
Mm.
about. Most of the time I tell her to fuck off, even though I really want the habit. So I promise you're not alone. I
Yeah.
promise.
I think for me it's just getting my head around it's trying to change this. And that's the biggest thing that I'm struggling with. Because I I stick with the same food week in, week out because I know how to
Yeah.
make it. It's quick. And then you're running around, aren't you, with like busy with work, busy with kids, and you never seem to
Yeah.
be sort of having time to do anything. But it was the whole like the protein thing is just
Mhm.
like trying to get that in the meals and trying to focus
It's
on that
hard.
side of it and
Yeah.
stuff. And it was that bit I'm struggling with a lot. So
The hardest
yeah,
bit
It's
is
taken us
getting
years
started.
to get these habits, though,
Yeah,
hasn't it,
the
Amy?
hardest bit is getting started because it
mm,
Yeah.
feels so much bigger than it is. So when
mm,
you're saying, like, oh, it's super hard to find time because I'm in these habits with that. I get it because I've been there and I've said the same words and I felt the
yeah,
same way. But then when I actually start doing it, you almost think, wow, holy shitballs, that was
yeah,
thing that I built it up to be.
mm,
Actually took me pretty much the same time. Everyone pretty much enjoys it the same. So it is just getting you to give it a go so that you can get
Mm.
over that precipice and then
Yeah.
be reflecting really and have that holy shit balls that actually was not a big deal at all type
Mm.
of thing. And that's what we
Perfect.
need you to get to step out of that comfort zone. Uh,
Yeah,
but we
definitely.
absolutely will have a little tete-a-tete. Is that what they say? And
Thanks,
we'll catch
ladies.
up and we'll go through it.
Thank
No,
you.
in all seriousness, our little crew is awesome. Like you can say anything to anyone, and they will
Mm.
rally and back you. Debbie
Thank
H,
you.
what you saying, Debbie H? She's got a little hoodie on. She looks nice.
Hello, yes, I'm also struggling from a Christmas do last night.
That's because you've got so many socials, haven't you? Debbie's like little social
Oh,
queen.
it's crazy. But to be fair, for me, it's like I just think I'm going to skyrocket back up if when I have these events, and I'm actually quite an even line. So I'm quite happy at the moment because I know I've got so many more to come, and I think if I keep doing what I'm doing, which I don't quite know what I'm doing because I go into the events thinking balance, balance, don't drink, don't drink. I'm a binge drinker when I do drink,
Yeah,
so
I remember
it does go out
discussing.
of the window.
I remember
But yeah,
discussing that
no,
with
it's working at the moment, so I'm quite positive, and I've got to my lowest weight this week as well, so that was good. But then
yeah.
I had a three-course meal and lots of vodka and prosecco last night, so
Together, vodka in the prosecco.
no, no, not that
Christ.
badass,
I was
but.
gonna say binge drinking to the max. But yeah, no, exactly what you said. You are probably one of our biggest social butterflies, I would say, in terms of events. I don't think I go to that many in like 6 months. Um, but actually, that was one of our key areas to work on. And we obviously had our catch-up call, and we were talking about that. And I think well, I don't think I know, you're achieving exactly what we said, which is in the meantime, everything's great. Might pop up slightly on the weekend, but then you're straight
Yeah.
back to where you want to be. And just like I've said to everyone on this call, if we come out of December, uh, pretty much maintaining, that is a flipping good place to be. And that's exactly what you're on track to do, if not actually a little
Yeah.
bit under. So you're killing it.
Thank you.
Tanya, are you actually there? Oh, I don't know. She ain't got a picture up. Tanya,
I am actually here, yes.
will I see your face?
I-
Oh, where are you?
Hello. I'm
Yeah. So Tanya is my eldest. How am I phrasing this? Her son is my eldest son's best friend. Uh, so
They
I've
met when
known
they were like a year old.
yeah. So I've known Tanya a long time. Are you sickly too,
I am, yeah, I have
or are you
not
in
been
the
this ill.
hungover?
No, no, no. I've I haven't been this ill in a long time. Something's going round, it's wiped out this.
At least you're a pharmacist. You can sort yourself right out.
Yeah, we
All the drugs.
Yes, I am trying, but somehow it's yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
half
all
the
right.
people on
It's
this
just,
call are
yeah.
hungover, and the other half have got the flu.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. And
But we're
what?
still here.
Yes, you're still here, and it's lovely to see your little face. I miss your little face. I'll give you a little call as well because I feel like we've not had a catch-up call for ages. If you got any questions on any of this, you happy?
No, I'm happy, yeah.
Got your veggie
But it's
pudding?
nice to hear people are struggling because I struggle in general a lot of times, and
Yeah.
it's nice to not nice, but it's good. Like in anything, sometimes you just think, oh,
Yeah.
why can't I? But
Yeah.
actually, it's nice to hear that other people also struggle, and it's
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's that sense of camaraderie, and you've like your before and after pictures of Phenom. I'm always popping them up. Everyone will always struggle in the same way. So I feel like I'm probably fitter than I've ever been in my life right now, but it's like eating wise, it doesn't come easy at all. And we've had loads of visitors over because, it's shitty cold in England and there's glorious out there.
Yes.
And they all keep bringing English chocolate. And
Yeah.
I find moments where I've lost my mind. And I think, what the dickens are you doing, Amy? Like, why have you eaten all of this? Like, everyone does it. But the winning is the ability to be like, oh, well, that was fun whilst it lasted. I really need to just not forget, but move on from that because it is a mere drop in the ocean. And in 2 weeks' time, that will have utterly no bearing on anything to do with my life. I think when people struggle the most is when things are going a little bit Pete Tong and they overanalyze everything. Like, oh no, is it me? Have I got a problem? Why have I done this? And then you get stuck in this cycle because you're almost telling yourself you're that person. Like if I tell you all to think of a blue elephant, you're all going to picture a blue elephant. And so if you're constantly telling yourself, I've got no willpower, I can't stick to anything, I can't do it, that's what you're reaffirming all the time. Whereas if you're almost like, oh dear Lord, I'm a monster, but I know I can do better, let's draw a line and move on with my life, it's pretty easy to just skip out of it and move on. So it is, I know it's sadder, but it is PMA and that little bit of backing yourself, like I'm a little badass, I can do whatever I want. I can do this, makes a huge difference. Hannah, Annette, are you there? You're muted and I got no picture, so you might not be there and you can lie to me. Hey, she's
I
there. Everyone's
I
got
am here.
these little green hoodies and jumpers today. Welcome. How are you feeling, Hannah?
I'm not hungover and I don't have the flu, so I think I might be winning.
Boo, boo, boo. She's won the day. She's
Um,
wins in early. How's life
um,
for you?
I'm really grateful to everybody being so honest because I do think you can, so like you are the only one that isn't eating enough protein or falls into the Lindor balls or all that kind of thing. So I am grateful um, for that. And I think it can be hard to be quite vulnerable. So big up to all of you.
I'll just finish this and I'll go up and do the shopping. Leave you do your work.
Oh,
She's going to go shopping and he's going to do his work. She's muted herself again. But yeah, no, I agree with that. That it is hard to actually just, especially off the back of Becky and Carrie as well, being like, yeah, killing it. So yeah, no, it's awesome. Tell us more, Hannah. You were going to
um,
say something.
God knows what I was going to say. I don't know. I do love a buffet. I can't lie.
Everyone loves a buffet.
Um, but I do appreciate those tips, and I will do that a bit more. We actually had a little lunch thing yesterday for some parent carers, and um, I was more mindful than I would have been. So even though I still enjoyed the beige, there were some carrot sticks on my plate, and there were little bits of veggies there that I did eat. And we didn't go back for seconds, so I'll take that. I did enjoy the chicken goujons and the little
Winning.
bit.
Think of all the protein in them chicken goujons.
That's what I thought. I thought that'll do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I quite like the idea of having more choices for your healthier foods. So I will do that. And we haven't got tons of social gatherings, so I can be in a bit more control of what's going in my mouth and on the table. So yeah, I'll try to move a bit more as well. I find that really hard at the weekends because I'm at home with the children, and my children are neurodivergent, so it's not always easy to get out of the house. But I will try. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank
And that
you.
will be no drums, and that will be huge. Like keeping that movement high over Christmas makes you just feel $1,000,000. And it also just creates a little bit of leeway for those ballers. Which is what we all want in our lives. By the signs of it, everyone's on a baller. Annette, are you there now?
I am here. I'm
Hello, my
really
love.
sorry.
We liked it. We like to know what you're doing. It's nice to know your husband's still working on a Saturday, and it's nice to know you're going off to do shopping. How have you been? You got any little wins or any questions or anything you want to add to us as a collective crew?
No, but I found this really helpful to hear everything. I find this time of year really hard. Just it's really, really busy with work. It's always really stressful. We've been sick. We've got the flu. Then we had a vomiting bug, and yeah, it's really hard. But the last piece of advice you were kind of saying there that not to beat ourselves up too much, and I focus on that a lot. I'm kind of all or nothing, so I'm really trying to focus on just anything I do is good. Like if I get a good night's sleep, I'm even counting that as a win. If I get out for a walk, even if I'm not hitting all of my steps, but just getting out and doing it at the moment, that's an achievement. I know that might sound like really, really small, but I'm taking that as a little win, and
No, it
that's
builds
helping.
momentum. So all wins are momentums, and I'm going to find any excuse to weave pickleball into this conversation. And here's my opening for it. It's a bit like pickleball, right, Annette? Whereas like you win a point, and in your head you're like, "Fucking yes!" And
Yeah.
you get chuffed, you know it went well, and yeah, it's a very small part of the game. But if you win enough of them, you win the match. And this is exactly the same. Like going out for your walks, getting all those little pieces done. Yes, they're little nuggets, but they add into the bigger picture that if you do them consistently, boom, like whole game changed. So count them as wins, feel proud, give yourself a little tap on the back. They're not small at all.
Yep. Yep.
You're a winner. Has anyone else got anything to add, or are they happy with life? I've taken that as I'm bloody happy with life. What I would say from today is I don't know about anyone else, and I might just be blowing my own trumpet. Feel free to tell me if I am. But I thought this was actually really nice, and it doesn't have to be as lengthy as this because it's like been an hour. But even if we did like a little monthly catch up like this, where we just put a call out that if people want to join, they can join. We can do a topic. So I'm happy to take some advisement, but like nutrition, training, those types of things. And then at the end, we just have 10, 15 minutes. We all have a little bit of a natter. I think that might be quite nice. Does anyone else feel that way? Like, just give me a 10.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Do you think monthly feels about right? Because would fortnightly be too much? Would you all get sick of me?
I couldn't do fortnightly, but monthly's good. It's not that I'm sick of you, it's just
No,
time commitment.
I accept that. I was like, yes, fortnightly's too much. Thank you. I will listen to you 1 monthly only. Fair feedback, and I'll take that. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to put that in process then. So expect a little post on the Facebook, and then me and Kat will start putting stuff into the WhatsApp group about it, into your little groups about it. And every single month we will have a catch up like this. And if you want to join, I'll be flipping overjoyed. It has been lush to see everybody, and I'll talk to you anyway on WhatsApp and stuff, but I wish you all the just luscious Christmas. And if things aren't going to plan, we are absolutely here. Like, use us, reach out, book a little chat with me. I love a chat. Anything you need. And I'll leave you all to it.
Amy,
Thank
can I
you
just
very
ask you a
much.
quick
Yeah,
question, please?
of course you can.
What's the I've confused myself with our check-ins. So what are we doing with those now? Please.
Right, let me read my mother's text because she's the boss of admin. And she'll tell me off if I say it wrong. So, according to my mother, festive schedule, Christmas webinar, we've just done that. Tick. Instead of the usual Sunday check-in tomorrow, this has taken its place. Okay, so no check-in tomorrow. Then obviously it's Christmas, and who wants a check-in at Christmas? Therefore, check-ins will resume on the 2nd of January. That is a Friday. And then Friday, the 9th of January, and then we're back into our normal Sunday schedules because I think Mum's going to New Zealand. So she's wiggled stuff about, and probably because it's New Year. So yeah, I just let her decide and I go with it. So Friday the 2nd of Jan, Friday the 9th of Jan, and then it's normal from the 18th on a Sunday.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hakuna Matata. It's been utterly lush to see you all, and yeah, I shall see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice
Aw.
Christmas.
Bye
You
everyone.
too.
Thank
Hearty
you.
love you.
Bye.
Bye.